different look. For me, I don't know about everyone else, but something really annoying for me is when I'm using like color lines and I have to use like 3 different color lines that they have for the same kind of things, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't know why I'm using a separate bottle for a gloss and all this crazy stuff. So this is so simple. Like, it's just something that is great for the beginner, the master, anyone. And I in our salons as well, when I see people beginning with color, it's also something that's really helpful, because like if we're training a stylist, it's really frustrating to get caught up in like the craziest colors. I don't know. Some lines have like a little individual color for each thing. It's too much. With this, it empowers stylists because we're actually customizing a color. And not only for you is that great, but also with your client, when they're hearing that you're customizing them a color, that feels really personal and really special. And as a hairstylist, the most important thing we can do is build that relationship with our client. That is our business, you know? So definitely an empowerment and something that I feel really like free with, and working with the customizable colors and everything like that. So I don't know also like how questions and everything work, but also I'll like kind of take little breaks and just ask if anyone has any questions. You can kind of like message in the chat or anything like that, and I'll just answer them. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to message or however you'd like. Okay, so this is the tube of color that we're going to be using. And let's see, trying to touch on kind of everything. Yeah, so for example, for my clients today, we're going to be using 10 volume just because we are only depositing color. So we have a, I think I am going to get started.
Recording.
All right, so I'm going to get started now with the color one-on-one kind of GK class. So my name is Deanna Colazzo. I've been educating with GK for I think like almost a year, or like about a year now. Right now I live in Utah, but I began working with GK back in New Jersey when I was working at a salon with a fellow educator, Nicole Rubino. And so I was just introduced to kind of the smoothing treatment and just kind of the Juvexin and all of the products and everything. And I was just really interested and just kind of astounded at what it did for my hair. Just because growing up, I feel like having curly hair, there wasn't a lot of representation. I'm 23 for reference too. So I feel like in the past few years, we've definitely seen the curl community grow, but growing up, I did not have that kind of product that I felt really worked with my hair. And I feel like the reason I love GK so much is just because it really is for everybody. It's so customizable in every product, in every like line that they have. It's just something that I really resonate with, and I resonate with the mission of just, you know, really embracing your beauty and using products that really bring out that, you know, natural side to you, where you feel confident in it and feel younger and just feel like your hair is flowing in the wind. So I just really love that. And I loved seeing my clients have a really positive reaction as well. And this is kind of my segue into the color, but something that I really love is GK's color. And it's very different from a lot of color lines I have used. So we're going to get into that a little bit today. So what I have prepared for everyone is that we are going to kind of get into the color line itself, just kind of the color wheel, a bit of color theory. I'm going to get a bit into just GK as a company too. And then I do have a live model for you all today. She is going to be, we're going to kind of see a bit more. We're going to do like a little bit of a consultation too, just so you guys can also see what a proper consultation could be for you, or just kind of how I would do it. So you might get some ideas for yourself. And then how I would style. So depending on timing and everything, there will be like a finished product photo sent out or posted or whatever too. I will send to Fahad after as well. But yeah, so I'm excited. So we're going to be doing like kind of like a burgundy red, which I feel like is really popular. And also the reason I wanted to do this is because I really, really love GK's reds. And it's something that I've found lasts me the longest, because I feel like as a stylist, when we get that red, it could either be like a yay or like kind of like a nervous feeling. Just because like people always complain like my red's washing out, like they need to come back in, etc. With GK, it truly is a kind of buildable color, I would say. And it really is just, it's true to tone. So, all right. So GK is founded in 2007. It was founded by Van Taboli, who, like I talked about a little bit, had a vision for everyone to kind of love their hair, embrace that like young flowing feeling, and really bring out their confidence through their hair. So the smoothing systems were created, and eventually they began to roll out other products, including their color line, which we're going to be talking about today. And something unique about GK is that they use Juvexin in every single one of their products. So from their hairsprays to their dry shampoos to their colors, we have Juvexin in it. Now, what is Juvexin? Juvexin is a keratin protein that actually is age defying, and it helps, it's not a lot of products people use that are like, you know, my clients always talk about, oh, this makes my hair look smooth, etc. It's, people aren't always seeing smoothness on the inside. They're not getting that repair on the inside. They're having something that's sealing their cuticle down for a couple of weeks or a day or whatever it is, and making their hair look really smooth on the outside, but it's not actually working on the inside. And that's why I love Juvexin and why I love GK, because I truly do see the difference right before my eyes when I'm using their color line, with just the shine, the softness. Like, I have people making comments, and if your client is making comments, that's like something significant, you know, because a lot of times we have our regulars that are just kind of like, oh yeah, perfect. But like, I was seeing my clients seeing a literal difference in their hair, and I was seeing it too, especially with, you know, like I said, the reds and just even like root touch-ups, I was seeing great things. So yeah, so we have the Juvexin in every product. And we also are going to talk just kind of about how like customizable the line is itself and everything. So yeah, so today I have a few of just the products that'll show you kind of the packaging and everything as well too. Okay, so I think these are the colors I'm going to be using on my client as well. So this is the packaging for the GK cream color with, like I said, it has the Juvexin in it, as it does in every product. And I'll show you kind of the tube. They are 3.4 ounces, which in my experience, I don't know what colors everyone's kind of using, but this is bigger than the average tube you're buying. So it definitely is, that's one of my favorite things about it. And you can usually get about like 4 applications from each tube. So that's really awesome as well. And basically this is like a customizable / like convertible kind of color. So meaning that you can use it with all of our different developers to achieve a different look. Which for me, I don't know about everyone else, but something really annoying for me is when I'm using like color lines and I have to use like 3 different color lines that they have for the same kind of things, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't know why I'm using a separate bottle for a gloss and all this crazy stuff. So this is so simple. Like, it's just something that is great for the beginner, the master, anyone. And I in our salons as well, when I see people beginning with color, it's also something that's really helpful, because like if we're training a stylist, it's really frustrating to get caught up in like the craziest colors. I don't know. Some lines have like a little individual color for each thing. It's too much. With this, it empowers stylists because we're actually customizing a color. And not only for you is that great, but also with your client, when they're hearing that you're customizing them a color, that feels really personal and really special. And as a hairstylist, the most important thing we can do is build that relationship with our client. That is our business, you know? So definitely an empowerment and something that I feel really like free with, and working with the customizable colors and everything like that. So I don't know also like how questions and everything work, but also I'll like kind of take little breaks and just ask if anyone has any questions. You can kind of like message in the chat or anything like that, and I'll just answer them. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to message or however you'd like. Okay, so this is the tube of color that we're going to be using. And let's see, trying to touch on kind of everything. Yeah, so for example, for my client today, we're going to be using 10 volume just because we are only depositing color. So we have a 8 volume, 10 volume, 20 volume, 30, 40. So with that, you would obviously, depending on what you're trying to achieve, obviously an 8 and a 10 is deposit only. Once we start getting into kind of 20s, 30s, 40s, that's when we're kind of looking at leveling up, lifting level, or gray coverage for 20 volume. Yeah, so if there's any questions, again, let me know. All right, awesome. So I'm gonna be kind of bringing out just the chart, and also like I'll just kind of talk. I'll just also, before I start getting into that, so best thing about GK is that the line is consistent, meaning also for me that my client can also go home and continue to use Juvexin based products that I know are also not only adding that smoothness, that age defying property, that shine, but it's also helping protect the color. So basically for like a standard color service that I would do, I would obviously use my Juvexin color, do a proper consultation, try and find out what they would like to achieve. After I'm done applying the color, let it process. A great thing too is that with the gray coverage also, we process for 30 minutes as well. So depending, you can do 30 to 40 minutes. Or for me, I also, if I'm just doing the ends as well, like if I'm running it through someone's ends, and I'm doing just like 8 to 10 volume, I'll leave it for about like 20 to 25 depending. And that just adds like almost like a conditioning treatment effect as well. It makes it very shiny, soft, love it. But I would also, after I'm done applying color and I'm taking them to the bowl, we would follow up with our GK moisturizing shampoo and GK moisturizing conditioner, also infused with Juvexin. It is actually color protecting as well. So, and it is also safe if your client has a smoothing treatment that they got before. This is also safe to actually help re-adding the Juvexin. I love using this. I use this personally myself. And I really love it because I feel like even my clients at the salon, like I truly don't even need to use that much product. Like today when I am finishing my client, I'm just going to shampoo her with this, and I'm literally going to just finish her off also with the GK oil, which I love, by the way. I'm a big scent person, so I love that about GK as well. If you like scents, they have beautiful scents. So literally just style people with the oil when it's wet, and then I finish them off with the oil. Like it's so simple, because it has that Juvexin, so you're seeing almost a keratin-like effect in a way, if that makes sense. So yeah, so that would kind of be what I would recommend. And then also I would recommend my client obviously takes home moisturizing shampoo and conditioner to continue at home, to make sure that they're getting that longevity that we're communicating it gets, because the best way to continue a color at home is home care. So all right, so as long as there's no questions, sorry, I'm just checking the chat. Okay. All right, so I am going to be getting into the actual color line itself now. We're going to talk a little bit about all of the shades, and yeah, so all right, so this is the Juvexin cream color. This is just a pamphlet that kind of is going to give us the overview of everything, the whole color chart, color wheel, etc. So this is an Italian color line as well, which one is good to know because level systems are different from an English or American, sorry, English, for an American color system to a European color system. The level systems are slightly different, so it's good to know the difference of what you're using. And also it's just like really fancy to tell your client that you're using an Italian color on them, because clients love hearing things like that. So it's really fun to say. So all right, so like I said, so we have the 8 developer, 10 developer, 20 developer, 30, 40. And so deposit only, like I said, 8 and 10 volume, 30 minutes on the roots, and 20 on hair length. So to me, that's pretty quick, like 30 minutes, because some of the color lines are like probably about like 45 sometimes. So sometimes that's too much, because like I always talk about in my classes, like not only am I going to be teaching you guys kind of the GK line itself, but I also am trying to help stylists achieve their business goals as well. And GK literally does that, you know, like it's something that really does help you see the monetary difference, the difference in your client's hair or your business changing. It's just super true to tone and consistent. So clients love that, because worst thing ever is you're toning at the bowl and the color is super like see-through, super hollow, not what you expected. That's not GK. It's the most consistent color I've used, and I've used a few different lines. So love that. And not only that, but it is cruelty-free and gluten-free, as well as it is low ammonia. So, I mean, for color to work, you know, a lot of people say like, oh, like we're a natural color line, like that's not real. Like color, for it to deposit, we need to have a level of ammonia, but low ammonia is like a leading thing from other color lines right now. So a lot of lines have just a huge amount of chemicals in it, and GK has that lower ammonia level. Also, again, gluten-free. So if someone has a gluten allergy, that's also a plus to market for your clients, as well as cruelty-free. And just for another note too, because a lot of people do ask this, including my clients, it does, GK color does have PPD in it. So a lot of people are allergic to that. I mean, I always just, you know, do a patch test, as you should with anything, strand test, whatever. That's just being a responsible colorist too. So just making sure we're doing that. So yeah. So I just, because I saw a few people leaving and joining, I was just saying to people, if you guys have any questions, just kind of comment in the chat, and things like that. So thanks. All right. So awesome. So 20 volume, that's for about 1 to 2 levels to lift, or if we're looking at gray or white coverage. So that would be 30 minutes as well, which again, that's great. A lot of them can be up to 40 minutes. So 30 minutes is good with me. Love that. All right, so then we have 30 volume. Okay, so that would be 2 to 3 levels of lift. Also, once you begin using 30 volume, it is recommended to actually go a level lighter. So that would be a 40-minute processing time. And then if you're using 40 volume, that would be a 45 to 50-minute processing time. And in talking about the higher volumes as well, GK also does have super lighteners, which are kind of like almost high lift colors, which are amazing as well. Super great. And the hair feels awesome after. So that's a plus. All right. So I'm going to start talking a little bit about the actual color line. There is like over 100 different combinations we can kind of make with this color line. Super straightforward. These colors are also natural tone. So these are not, you know, you hear a lot of stylists talking about, oh, that color line runs warm, that color line runs a bit red, whatever. These do not. These are true to tone, like I said. So what you see is what you get. You just need to be, again, a educated colorist, educated business owner, and know how you're applying color, why you're doing what you're doing, when you would do what you're doing. So I am kind of just showing it. This is kind of the whole line right here of color, as well as there.
Come here, baby. You can't go in there. You go lay on my bed.
Hey, also, I'm just asking if everyone could have their microphones off during the presentation. I think that someone's microphone was on. I just heard someone. Thank you. Okay, so we have a natural. So obviously those would be your neutral tone, like your, I would say, I mean, you can use them in any instance, like I said, but for me, if I'm doing kind of a root touch up, these would be kind of one of the natural tones. So we have from levels. Sorry about that. So we have levels 1 through 10. So starting from black to lightest platinum blonde. So the way that our number system works, so 1 is black, okay? So 2 is very dark brown. 3 is dark brown. 4 is brown. 5 is light brown. 6 is dark blonde. 7 is blonde. 9 is very light blonde. And 10 is light platinum blonde. So, like I said, could, because it's Italian, that's a European line, could be a little bit different than an American system. So just kind of going over that with you guys, because sometimes there is slight differences in kind of color lines that we're transferring from and everything. Okay, so that is our level. Okay, the first number is our level. So, you know, if you have a swatch, you would obviously in the consultation assess what level your client is at. So matching that level up is important, obviously, because if we're toning at the sink and our client lifts, this is a common thing that I see people do. If we lift to a 7, why are we toning with an 8? You know, that doesn't make sense. But sometimes I will use a little bit of the super lightener in my toners if I just kind of want to brighten up a blonde really quick too. So that's also a really good thing you could do if you wanted to kind of make someone pop, but don't tone a level lighter. It doesn't make sense. So you want to make sure that your client gets toned correctly. So obviously the first number is our level, and then second number. So this is a 562. So our second number is going to be our primary number. So this is going to be the primary pigment that is going to be present in our formula. So a 6 is going to be a red. So I think pretty much universally that's usually what it is. So 6 is a red. So this is a and then this has 2 numbers. So not all of them do, but if we have another number, it's our secondary number. This would almost be I don't like it wouldn't be a background color, like almost like just a secondary color, like, you know, just something else that would be added into the formula. Like I said, it's not always present. This isn't always going to be. So a 2 is an irisy. So that's almost like purple-ish vibe, violety, lavendery maybe. So we're kind of, let me kind of read over just the whole number system. That's just kind of a tutorial on how we would read the color tubes and GK color line. So number 1, our primary color, if we're seeing a 5.1, that would be a light brown ash. 1 is ash. A 2 is irisy. A 3 is golden. 4 is copper. 5 is mahogany. 6 is red. 7 is sand. 8 is amber, and 9 is chocolate. So if we're using like, you know, a double 1, that would be like a really intense. So yeah. Okay, so that's kind of just how our numbering system would work. And then down here, we kind of have our color wheel. So we know that in color theory that we learn at school and everything like that, we learn a lot about canceling out tones and everything like that, just kind of opposite colors. So just like refreshing, you know, like our colors that we would use if we're canceling tones out. If someone's pulling yellow, we would use something that would be a violet base. If someone pulls orange, we would use a blue base color, which we have some really great ones. Just kind of like, that's also again like why I really like it. We really have like colors that are customizable for you to color correct as well. So yeah, orange, blue. I was like thinking which ones did I go through. If someone's pulling a bit more of a red, we're going to be doing something that's a green base. So those are kind of just the basic refresher of our little color theories. And then also I wanted to kind of touch on, since we're talking about color theory, if we are also wanting to kind of fill someone as well, I usually go for the like 0.4, 0.44 series if we're filling. So yeah, so that would be a little bit of like a advanced kind of color theory right there, but a good tip because we always need to know how to fill. Okay, so on top of our GK naturals, we also have our intense naturals. So this is what I would use if someone has like more than like, like 50% gray. And a good tip as just like a colorist too, from when I've worked with these, I always usually just try and go a level, like if someone is a 4, I'm gonna use the 5.0 just because it is an intense color. So it's literally made to cover gray. So just making sure that we kind of go that level lighter. Um, Unless they want to be a bit darker at the root. It really just depends, again, consultation is important. So we have from the 5 to 9 of the intense natural line for coverage. And the 5 does go pretty dark too. So like, I feel like it's a good starting level, but again, this is a customizable line. So sometimes if I really need to, I'll mix in a little bit of a regular natural, or I'll mix in, a 4.01, which is from our cold natural line. So again, very empowering. You're mixing your own color. Yeah. So, all right. So, yeah, intense naturals from 5 to 9, and then we'll have our cold naturals. So these are a bit more of a cool based, sort of ash, almost ash. It has an ash secondary pigment. So we have from our 4.01s to our 6.01 to our 8.01. So these are kind of like an intense, cool brown or blonde root touch up that you would do as well, or toner, whatever you'd like. And then we have just our ash line itself. So we have a 1.1. So that is literally ash black. And yes, it's literally ash black. Like I said, these are very true to tone. And then we have I really love the ash line as well. Let me just say, like, it really is ash, and especially the intense ash, like, be ready. Like, know that you really want an intense ash if you're using it. Like, don't take it lightly. Like I said, so true to tone. Very intense ash for like toning. I really love it. If someone pulls like very brassy, like my ashes are my favorite. They really do give them that ash tone. Because sometimes I find it just muddies it out almost or gets lost. But this, as long as you're processing it for correct time, you will see a true to tone ash. So let's see. So we have our ash line, like I said, from our 1.1, 5.1, 6.1, 7.1, 8, 9, and 10.1. So from a 1 to a 10, you have a pretty good variety of range. And then our intense ash. So we have our 6.11, 7.11, 8.11, and our 9.11 in our 10. So looking at in this range over here. Amazing. Okay, so those are kind of our naturals and our ashes up there. Love them. Like I said, always get compliments from my clients on their roots and hair and everything after using their color. It looks super shiny and just great coverage. I love it. All right, so now we're going to get into kind of our like goldens with our reds situation, or coppers. So we have a great golden line. I really love these for toning. Just all of these colors are so beautiful. The goldens range from a 5 to a 9. So we have a 5.3, 6.3. Sorry, I'm like trying to get it in thing. 6.3, 7.3, 8.3, and a 9.3. So these are the goldens. I really love them. And like you can kind of see in the pictures, like this again is very true to the tone of what it will come out like. Really nice for like after a balayage, if someone wants something really natural. I really love that line. We have our ambers as well, which are super duper pretty. They're ambers. I mean, they're kind of like I would say, like they have the names are coffee, white coffee, and caramel, and I feel like those are pretty accurate. I feel like it definitely is like a caramely kind of, I don't know, it's like a caramely, almost like mushroom brown kind of thing going on. I really like it. So we have the 4.93. Sorry, I'm trying to get these in the thing. 4.93, 5.93, and then we have our 6.93. So those are the ambers, very pretty again. And then we have our coppers. So I really love the copper series. Like I said, getting into the coppers and the reds and the like mahoganies, like again, these are so vibrant and they stay true to tone. So if you have some clients that, you know, you want to make this switch over to the GK coppers, reds, like they will last you, which is very hard with these tones, they said. So we have our copper. So we have our copper. So these are 4.4. So we have from a 4 to an 8. So we have 4.4, 5.4, 6.4 dark copper brown. Then we have a 7.4, favorite one to tone with for a copper. Then we have an intense copper. Again, these, when they say intense, please remember these are intense again. So making sure that we're using it when needed. But sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually just like, I'll do like, let's say a 6.4, and then I'll add like maybe like 5 to 10 grams of the 7.44. But if someone's like looking for like a really coppery thing, they don't want to come in and get their hair done for a while, it fades out really pretty. And again, it fades out true to tone too. Like I don't have my clients coming back in like washed up, you know, like they're not looking like super like pale and hollow. Like it looks very true to tone. Which I again love and clients love, because like no one wants to like have their hair look like kind of like that like hollow blonde with like some red left in it. It's very pretty when it fades. And then we have the 8.43, which again is a very, very pretty kind of like copper blonde. So it's literally golden copper like blonde. Super pretty. And then we have our mahoganies, which I also love. And I think I'm actually using mahogany today as well on her. So we'll be seeing that in action today. We have a 4.5 mahogany and a 5.56 mahogany. Let me find it. Love them. Again, if you want someone that wants that like red velvet kind of color, a little bit of this with like a red mixed tone or something in there, like even like our intense red blonde or intense dark red blonde, amazing. I think that's kind of what we're thinking of doing today. So we'll kind of see. Okay, so now another great thing for a customizable line that every customizable line needs to have is mixed tones. So when would you use mixed tones? What are mixed tones? So mixed tones are just primary, or not primary, just like raw color. Like it literally comes out. And I also, so these again, because GK is such a like versatile line, so it has an ash, a green, a blue, a violet, a yellow, a copper, and a red. So these are pretty like needed colors to boost your formula, or you can also use them for a fantasy color, which is super fun. So that's another, and these really last. And again, true to tone. So like this is literally blue when it comes out. I really like to use the mixed tones if I'm doing, again, like someone that's like, I really want to be like a bright red. I will do like, let's say like or if they're like, I want to be like a bright, like copper, strawberry, like red, whatever, you know, all the copper trends now with all the different names. It's like, I can't keep up. So whatever, I would probably use like a 7.64, which is our copper red blonde, and then add like a little bit of the copper. I usually only need to do like 5 grams of this, or like 5 to 7. It's very copper. Again, these are mixed tones, so it's literally straight color just going into your formula. Super helpful though if you don't know, like, so you don't get lost in it, you know. Sometimes just go back to the basics, and that's good, and that's okay to go back to basics, and these are great for that. So all right, so now we'll get into a little bit like I would say I really like these. Again, this is my personal preference, but it's a versatile line, so you can use it for anything. I really love these for toning as well, the next few kind of colors that we're going to talk about. Okay, so the pearl line, so pretty. One of my favorite things to add into a blonde formula after I'm done highlights, using the again, I'll segue a little bit into this too. Another great product for color that GK has, they have lighteners as well. So if you need to do highlights or balayage, they do have a clay lightener. And then they have their not regular, like the Juvexin powder lightener, as well as like a cream based one. So I really, really like them. super gentle on the hair. And I get a very good lift out of them. And they're super versatile depending, like I said, on the developer you use, kind of what you're achieving. Really love the clay for balayage as well. So that's one of my favorite things, is to open air paint. And I feel like with open air painting, sometimes we do struggle a little bit with more warmth in the hair. So I really love this line, again, the GK color line, because it really is true to tone and it really helps me color correct. So all right, so the pearls are really pretty. They're like an iridescent type of blonde. Just love adding it into a formula. This or the sand are my, like, along with the reds and like the coppers, like they're my absolute favorite colors. So yeah. So I have a 8.12 and I have a 9.12 as well. So those are the pearl light, or the 9.2.21, sorry. And these are the pearl light blondes, as well as the irisy pearl very light blonde. So a little bit of like a more, if someone's pulling pretty yellow, that's a really pretty one. And then a 10.12, so that is for platinum blondes. I really love the pearl. And then we also have our ice chestnut. So these are really pretty. I feel like this is kind of a trending color right now. So super great to have your clients. The ice chestnuts are super pretty. They're like a ashy brown, like an ice brown almost. Super, I just love them. 4.91